one of the things that I told Ann Maurer, who works with the Madison County Record, while we were at the Belleville courthouse, is, I asked her the question, who can be against this when all we're really talking about is elevating the importance of judicial elections? And isn't that going to be a benefit to everyone in our society if we have better judges, if we have a more informed electorate going to the polls and casting a real educated, informed vote? I mean, isn't that what, you mentioned, you talked about lawyers and how, they of all people should understand the importance of good judges. They go and they rate judges through the State Bar Association, right, and they get so angry when they give a judge a failing grade and the public doesn't pay any close attention to it. And so, my challenge and my thoughts on this are, if you're a judge or if you're a lawyer, if you're part of the legal profession, then isn't it in your best interest to have good judges, especially if you're in the legal profession?
Yeah, I agree. And the entire process, the entire legal process from start to finish, of course, hinges upon having a good judge who listens objectively and makes rulings that obey the law. They're not partisan, and we've unfortunately we've come to the point now where here, particularly in Madison County, where it would seem that that they've opened themselves up to allowing lawsuits to come in for whatever reason that are infringing upon the actual process of living and the actual process of just day-to-day life by making the ability to conduct business, which provides jobs, which ultimately provide taxes to support our communities. They're making it harder for these businesses to flourish, which in turn makes that entire whole wheel process of what we expect from our communities.
That concept of judges can have an impact on the economy is something I think that's lost on a great deal of people in our society, because they don't think about it, and they certainly don't vote in those retention elections. They don't pay attention to who's voting, and if you don't cast a vote at all, you are in essence casting a vote, because a judge has to be retained. A judge has to get 60% of those votes.
The voting. Right. Exactly.
So not voting in a retention election is essentially voting to keep a judge, because
precisely
you're lowering the numbers. The way I like to describe it is, if let's say 5 people vote in a retention election and 3 people vote to retain. So that 3 out of 5 is 67%. That's more than enough to be retained. But with 3 votes out of 10 votes cast, that's only 30%. And so when you don't vote, you are essentially giving your consent for a particular judicial candidate. And there are a lot of good judges, and they absolutely should be retained. What we're arguing is, let's take a look at who's on the ballot, let's educate ourselves, and let's understand that a good judge, by having the foresight to throw out a frivolous case, is helping the economy. Because if those frivolous cases mount up, as they do in Madison and St. Clair counties, then the message we're sending employers is, our courts aren't going to protect you. Our courts, aren't going to throw out patently ridiculous cases. So not only do you have to worry about legitimate claims, which, businesses should be concerned about if they have a legitimate lawsuit filed against them, but they also have to worry about all these other frivolous claims that have nothing to do with justice. It's all about greed. And that's why you see our economy struggling so mightily, especially in this area.
And I agree, as you started the comment about the importance of the voter education. Too many times when I've been walking around knocking on doors and handing out literature, people say, well, I don't know who to vote for. And it's like, well, why don't you know who to vote for? Aren't you paying attention? And it's not so much the fault of the judge that he doesn't get his record out, because it's there.
Right.
It's important upon the voter to, as you said, not only get educated, but to vote. No voting, not voting is the same as voting for him.
And
almost.
almost. And we see two, like I said, going back to the beginning here, who is against this message? Who's against, good judges matter? Who can stay there and that this is a bad message? I think this is an important message. That's why we're here today. And I thank you so much for coming out and helping us.
Glad to be here.